Greetings, beautiful souls, and welcome to Stillness Unfolded. Pause, breathe in the quiet, feel it settle like dew on a lotus leaf at dawn. Life sweeps us along, doesn't it? Years etch their stories on our skin, and we wonder if radiance fades with time. But what if I told you there's a secret to shining brighter as the years unfold, a light that doesn't dim, but deepens? Picture a monk gazing at a weathered tree, whispering, "It grows still." Could you hold that same timeless glow? Today on Stillness Unfolded, we'll unlock radiance as you age with 10 Buddhist habits, pearls of wisdom I've gathered from ancient sutras echoing in temple halls, from the stillness of mindfulness, and from lives that gleam like polished stone. This isn't about resisting time, it's about rising through it, radiant and unshaken. What's the one habit that ties them all into a dance of eternity? Grab your tea, let it steam curl like a prayer, and dive in. This video is a treasure chest. Watch every moment to claim its gifts. If it stirs you, hit that like, subscribe to join us, and share your spark in the comments. Your voice lights the way for more stories on this journey. 1. Clothe your soul in simplicity. There's an old Zen saying, "Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication." In the bustling markets of the West, fashion screams for attention. Vivid colors splash across billboards, sharp cuts compete for the spotlight, a relentless chase to be noticed. But in the hushed teachings of Buddhism, elegance whispers. It's not born from the mirror's flattery or the crowd's applause. It rises from the heart, from the way we carry ourselves, from the quiet intention we weave into every thread we wear. I think of a tale from a Vietnamese village cradled by endless rice paddies, where an old woman named Ba Hoa lived with little more than the wind and the sun for company. Her only treasure was a faded Ao dye, its silk softened by time, its edges frayed like the pages of an ancient sutra. Each dawn, she knelt by the river's edge, washing it with hands worn by decades, mending its seams with a needle as steady as her breath. A child once tugged at her sleeve and asked, "Ba, why don't you buy a new one? This is so old." She smiled, her eyes like still water, and said, "This robe is my life's companion. It holds my years, my joys, my tears. Its beauty isn't in its shine, but in the peace I've stitched into it." Ba Hoa's words echo in me still. Our clothes are more than fabric draped over flesh. They a mirror to the soul's calm, a testament to the stillness we nurture within. In my own journey, I've shed the urge to chase fleeting trends. Once, I filled my wardrobe with loud hues and stiff cuts, thinking they'd define me. But over time, I turned to softer things: linen tunics that dance with the breeze, muted browns and greens that remind me of the earth after rain. They don't shout, they hum a quiet tune of ease. So, when you dress each morning, let go of the world's clamor. Choose what feels like an embrace, perhaps a loose robe that flows like a river, or a shawl in the color of dawn. Let your attire be a prayer, not a performance. The storm may rage outside, but you can stand as a mountain, unshaken, wrapped in the simplicity of your own truth. 2. Let your mind be a garden ever growing. A wise monk once said, "The mind is like a garden. If you do not tend it, weeds will grow." Aging isn't a call to settle into the familiar, to rest on the laurels of what we've learned. No, it's a beckoning to dig deeper, to sow new seeds of wonder, to let curiosity bloom like jasmine in the night. In my years poring over Buddhist texts, the Pali Canon, The Lotus Sutra IVE come to see this, a mind that quests is a mind that stays young. There's a story from the Theravada tradition about a monk named Thich who, at 85, decided to carve wooden Buddhas from the gnarled roots of fallen trees. His fingers shook like leaves in the wind, his sight blurred by the weight of years, yet he sat each day, chisel in hand, tracing lines of reverence into the wood. A young novice, puzzled, asked, "Thay, why trouble yourself with this now, so late in life?" Thich laughed, a sound like pebbles tumbling in a stream, and said, "When I cross to the next shore, I want to carry a gift I've perfected here." His answer wasn't about the statues, it was about the fire of growth that flickered in him, a flame time couldn't douse. I've felt this pull myself. Some years back, I took up Sanskrit, drawn to the ancient chants of the sutras in their native tongue. The script twisted before me like a maze, each curve a riddle, but as I unraveled it word by word, verse by verse, I found a river of light within. It wasn't easy, my memory faltered, my patience frayed. Yet every syllable I mastered was a step forward, a proof that learning belongs not to youth alone, but to anyone who breathes. What keeps your mind alive? For me, it's the unknown, the book unread, the skill untested. Pick up a brush and paint, weave words into a poem, or sit beneath a tree and ask what it's seen. What seed will you plant in your garden today? Drop your answer below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. 3. Walk as if the earth breathes with you. Have you ever seen someone move with such purpose, slow, deliberate, that the air itself seems to pause in respect? The Buddha taught that our steps mirror our inner world. A slouched frame bears the weight of doubt, while an upright spine sings of clarity. Posture isn't mere alignment, it's the soul's quiet hymn, sung through the body. In a temple in Hue, I met Soko Tinhim, an old nun whose walk was a marvel. She glided so slowly you'd swear the earth tilted to meet her sandals, each step a ripple on a still pond. Around her, life-churned children darted, bells clanged, yet she flowed like a lotus adrift, untouched by the chaos. One rainy afternoon, I asked, "Soko, why don't you ever hasten?" Her eyes crinkled like folded silk, and she replied, "This moment is all I hold. To rush is to let it slip through my fingers." Her grace wasn't in her shaved head or saffron robes, it was in the presence she carried, a stillness that hushed the world. I've walked her path in my own way, barefoot on cool soil, feeling the ground pulse beneath me. It's a shift, shoulders soften, breath steadies, time stretches. Once, I hurried everywhere, hunched under unseen burdens, but now I imagine a golden thread lifting me, guiding each step. Try it, stand tall, let your spine rise like a bamboo stalk, and move as if the earth breathes with you. It's not just motion, it's meditation. Your presence speaks before your voice does, a silent song of strength and peace. 4. Wear your silver strands as a crown. In many corners of the world, gray hair is a foe to be fought, died away, hidden beneath caps, mourned as a loss. But in Buddhist light, it's a treasure, a silver crown spun from the threads of a life richly lived. The Buddha saw aging not as decay, but as an awakening, a call to see the beauty in impermanence. My grandmother, Banoi, wore her white hair like a halo. In her 60s, it turned pale as rice flour, and she'd sit by the window, combing it with a wooden comb, letting it gleam in the sun. I once asked, "Ba, don't you miss the black it used to be?" She laughed, a sound like wind chimes, and said, "This silver is my tale, every storm I've faced, every joy I've held. To hide it would be to erase who I am." Her pride wasn't boastful, it was a quiet thanks for the years she'd walked. I see this in others, too. In a market once, an old man sold herbs, his hair a cascade of silver down his back. He didn't hunch or apologize for it, he stood tall, as if each strand were a medal. Your gray is no different, a mark of battles won, wisdom earned. Don't cloak it in shame. Wash it, let it catch the light, wear it as Banoi did, a crown of endurance. The fourth thing silently revealing your grace is this gentle embrace of time, something so familiar you might not even feel its strength. 6. Let kindness be your finest jewel. The Dalai Lama says, "My religion is kindness." No gem in this world, neither ruby nor sapphire, gleams as brightly as a heart that gives without seeking reward. In the Buddhist teachings, compassion is the golden thread that ties us to all beings, a light that shines not in loud trumpets of charity, but in the soft ripples of care that flow outward, touching lives we may never meet. In a temple courtyard beneath a banyan tree's sprawling shade, I watched Bac, an old man with a straw broom, sweep leaves from stone steps as dusk brushed the sky with amber. His back curved like a bow, his hands rough as the bark he touched, yet his strokes matched the rhythm of a monk's quiet chant. He never rested there himself, so one evening, as the temple bell sang, I asked, "Bac, why bother with this every day?" He leaned on his broom, eyes glinting with fading sunlight, and said, "Someone weary might sit here tomorrow. If I can lighten their day, even just a little, then mine is complete." His kindness was a breeze, gentle, enduring, warming the air long after he'd shuffled away. Another tale comes from a hamlet by the Red River, where Chi Ngoc, a widow, wove mats from rushes and left them by the road for travelers. She never spoke of it, but one day a monk asked, "Why give when no one thanks you?" Her answer was a whisper, "Their rest is my joy." Her quiet gift, like Bac's, taught me kindness is a seed sown in shadow, blooming unseen. I've woven this into my life. Once I tied a scarf around a shivering child at the market, saying nothing, and felt my heart glow. Kindness circles back, a balm for giver and receiver alike. The Buddha's metta softens us like rain on dry soil. I've forgiven myself as I would a friend, letting old bitterness drift away. So, what small kindness will you offer today? A smile, a shared meal, a gentle word? Share it below. I'd love to know how your light ripples through the world. 7. Move to the rhythm of life. A joyful life pulses with movement, each step a tribute to the body's fleeting gift. Whether it's a sway in the breeze like a willow branch or a stride through the fields under a vast sky, motion is life's dance, a celebration of the breath that flows through us. The Buddha taught that the body is a vessel, fragile yet sacred, and to honor it with care is to walk the path of mindfulness. On Ba, a fisherman on the Mekong, rowed his skiff each dawn as the river woke with the sun. His arms were wiry as dried reeds, his back curved like a crescent moon, yet his paddle sliced the water with a grace that belied his years. I once sat on the bank, watching, and called out, "On, what keeps you so steady?" He grinned, teeth flashing like pearls, and said, "The river shows me flow with it, not against it. That's my strength." His boat glided like a lotus petal on the current, and his eyes sparkled with a delight as pure as a child's. His dance with the water wasn't labor, it was a harmony, a rhythm learned from the river's endless song. But there's another tale, older still, from the days when monks roamed the forests of ancient India. A disciple once asked the Buddha, "Lord, why do you walk so slowly beneath the trees?" The Blessed One paused, his feet brushing the earth, and said, "Each step is a breath, each breath a moment of life. To move with awareness is to live fully." His words ripple through time, a reminder that motion is more than muscle, it's a prayer, a way to weave our spirit into the world's vast tapestry. I find my own beat in the quiet hours, stretching like a heron at sunrise, my limbs unfolding as the mist lifts, or walking the paddies at dusk, the soil cool beneath my soles. Once, I saw movement as toil, a task to rush through, but now it's worship, a bow to the body that carries me. In a village near Dalat, I met an old woman who danced each evening, her bare feet tapping the dirt to a tune only she heard. "It keeps my heart light," she said, her laughter rising like birdsong. I tried it myself, twirling in my kitchen as rice bubbled on the stove, bending with the wind as it swept through the bamboo. It's not effort, it's joy. So, find your rhythm, sway like a flame in the lantern's glow, step as if the earth hums beneath you. Let every motion lift your spirit, a dance with the pulse of life itself. 8. Choose companions like lanterns. The Buddha cautioned that false friends cut deeper than enemies, their words like hidden thorns beneath a flower's bloom. Seek those who illumine your path, not shadow it, for in their light you find strength to walk the noble way. I've learned this through tears shed in quiet nights. Some voices lift you like a breeze carrying a leaf skyward, while others anchor you, heavy as stones in a riverbed. A monk by a lotus pond once taught this lesson with simple grace. He knelt by the water's edge, where lilies floated like stars, and dropped 2 pebbles into the still surface. One bobbed gently, riding the ripples, while the other sank swiftly to the depths. "True friends," he said to his pupil, his voice soft as the evening wind, "are the light stone. They rise with you, not drag you down." I hold this image near, a touchstone for the souls I let close, choosing voices that spark like embers, that nudge me toward the sun rather than the dark. In the annals of the Jataka tales, there's a story of a deer who roamed the forest with 2 companions, a jackal and a crane. The jackal urged the deer toward traps, whispering of easy gains, while the crane flew ahead, calling warnings of danger. When the deer chose the crane's counsel, it lived. When it heeded the jackal, it stumbled. I've known such companions in my own years. There was a time I clung to those who dimmed my flame, friends who spoke of doubt, who weighed my dreams with their own fears. But then I found others, like lanterns on a moonless night, a teacher who pressed a sutra into my hands, a sister who laughed away my worries. They didn't pull, they shone. I've walked paddy trails with an old man in Quang Nam, Bac Tam, who carried a bamboo staff and a smile that lit the dusk. He shared stories of rice harvests, not to boast, but to lift my spirits when I faltered. His presence was aglow, steady and warm. Scan your circle now. Do they kindle joy like a hearth, or smother it like damp earth on a fire? Seek your lanterns, those who guide with quiet radiance, and let their warmth lead you through life's winding paths. 9. Laugh like the wind through bamboo. Laughter is a free heart's melody, a song that rises unbidden when the soul shakes off its chains. Don't let life's heft its burdens, its storms mute that tune, for in the Buddhist teachings, joy is a flame that burns through the fog of suffering. In a village cradled by the hills of Nayan, I knew Ko Sao, an elder whose cackle could wake the dawn. She'd laugh at bent carrots pulled from her garden, at children streaking mud across her porch, her voice ringing like temple bells in the morning mist. "Life's too brief for gloom," she'd say, wiping tears of mirth from her weathered cheeks, and in her laughter, you'd hear a lightness that years couldn't steal. There's an older tale, too, from the days of the Sangha, when a monk named Kisapa sat beneath a Bodhi tree, his face stern as stone. A novice tripped nearby, spilling rice into the dust, and Kisapa, known for his gravity, let out a chuckle, startling the birds. When asked why, he said, "Even the wise stumble, and in that, there's humor. To laugh is to see the dance of impermanence." His words linger like a breeze through leaves, a reminder that joy isn't folly, it's wisdom clothed in delight. I laugh now, where once I frowned at my own missteps, like the day I slipped on a wet temple step, robes flapping like a heron's wings, or when rain soaked me through as I raced for shelter, only to find peace in the downpour's embrace. It frees me, softens the sharp edges of pride and worry. Once, I thought laughter was a luxury, something to earn after toil, but Ko Sao and Kisapa taught me it's a gift, free as the wind. In Hue, I saw an old woman giggle as her hat flew off in a gust, chasing it with a child's glee. I joined her, laughing at the absurdity, and felt my spirit lift like incense smoke. So, chuckle today at a crooked shadow, a spilled bowl, a moment gone awry. Let it ripple out, a sound like wind through bamboo, stirring the air with your joy. Life bends us, but laughter straightens the heart, a melody that echoes beyond the fleeting days. 10. Bloom without end. The lotus rises through mud, its petals unfurling toward the sun, never cursing the dark roots that cradle it. So too are you unfolding, each day a tender chance to grow, to reach beyond the soil of yesterday. A monk once pointed to a twisted tree on a hillside, its bark gnarled by 100 rains, and said, "A century old, yet it climbs toward the sky. So should you." His words fell like seeds into my heart, a quiet call to see life not as a finish line, but as an endless blossoming. In the sutras, there's a tale of Sariputta, the Buddha's disciple, who even in his final years sought new truths. One dusk, he sat by a river, watching fish dart beneath the surface, and asked, "What moves them so?" A fisherman laughed, but Sariputta pondered on, tracing the ripples to their source. When a novice questioned his curiosity, he smiled and said, "The day I stop asking is the day I stop living." His hunger for understanding wasn't bound by age, it was a river flowing ever forward, carving new paths through the stone of time. I've cast off old fears myself, fear of failure, fear of the unknown, shedding them like a snake leaves its skin. Once, I clung to certainty, but now I embrace riddles, the curl of smoke from a temple lamp, the silence between a bell's tolls. Last year, I took up weaving, my fingers fumbling with bamboo threads, yet each knot taught me patience, each mistake a lesson in grace. Growth knows no end, no gate that locks with the years. In a village near Sapa, I met Bame, an elder who at 80 learned to paint rice fields on silk, her brush trembling but her spirit steady. "I'm still becoming," she said, her eyes bright as dawn. So, try a craft, carve wood, string words into verse, or ponder a mystery beneath the stars. Stretch your soul like a vine seeking light. You're not late, not lost, you're right where you belong, blooming still, a lotus rising through the mud of this vast, wondrous life. As twilight spills silver over the river, let this sink in. Aging isn't a shadow creeping closer, it's a lantern growing brighter, each year a flame of wisdom, each mark a brush stroke of grace. You're not just passing through time, you're shining timelessly, a living sutra of strength and serenity. Thank you, dear friends of Stillness Unfolded, for weaving this path with me. Did these 10 habits unlock something radiant in you? Drop a comment. What habit will you carry forward? Hit like, subscribe if you're with us, and let's keep this flame alive together. This journey was rich. Did you catch every spark? Rewatch to hold it all. Until next time, may you glow like a lotus under the moon, timeless, radiant, ever true.